sign of the times. Organic and natural, happening and fashionable, live on stage or mingling in the crowd. Relive this history, peer into the reflections of how Buttamilk got down.
Let's move right along. This next brother, the funk flows all in him. Okay, the spoken word is all in him. I saw him at the Panorama October Gallery. That's what a panoramic. Yeah, I'm all messed up. You know, he got it going on, and he also spoke at the last North Star and the one before that. He got it going on. Give him love, y'all. Brother Rich Medina in the house.
You gotta start giving me some height adjustments on this mic, man. Man, you gonna have it out, Gene. How's everybody doing? All right. Anybody in here any of the brothers in here go see Mr. Farrakhan last night? It's all good, I'm just asking. I happened to be there, and something struck me kind of funny. One of the ministers that got on before Minister Farrakhan said something that was kind of interesting. He said that if you play sports, if you're a wide receiver on a football team, and every time you go downfield, you're double teamed, that means you're good, right? So why is it that anytime black men want to get together and talk about what they need to do to become better men, everybody in the goddamn world want to team up on them? Don't make too much sense to me. Sound to me like niggas is good. What? Anyway, we're gonna set this off. I'm gonna do a little warm-up piece. If I can get to it. Your mom's head's so nappy she need to take painkillers before she brush it. Bathroom and kitchen pipes all broke down and rusted. Toilet so backed up with paper you can't even flush it. And you gotta go polish your ride. Cupboards all bare and roaches went to Texas. Tomorrow you have a big ass bowl of nothing for breakfast. Brother's speech all raggedy talking about he gotta go take some tests. Why when your boys come over you gotta chill outside? Huh? Crib so small, gotta take turns living in it. Dirt coming in waves, teasing flicks, just surfing in it. A new face come to the door, your drunk ass sister burping in it. And you tying up a new pair of kicks in leather naugahyde. Ain't that a bitch? Brother so bad, they kicked his ass out of jail. Mom ain't have no 40 acres and a mule to pay for bail, so she paid on her knees with a soapy sponge and a pail. If I was her, I'd have been done put your shit outside. Motherfucker. Because your ass about as useless as a blindfolded watchman. Know you got money because all the honeys you be clocking. Drug loot payout got all the honeys jocking. And you don't even expect a turn of the tide. One up here, big boy. My man Jafar Barron, he kind of shy. This piece is brand new. It's the first time I read it since I wrote it, so work with me through the stuttering. All right?
When you speak overthrowing those conditions, I think
Right.
that's right.
As Armageddon approaches, I feel as though I'm forced to puff fully blunts down the roaches of reality. My third eye real thought replaces unreal circumstance while ridiculous media images dance across the united stage of American anarchy.
So when you say these things, are you threatening? Are you threatening?
Heavy roosting chickens today squat on young black minds as if they were warming nesting eggs. We are the children of the earth. Children of a revolutionary people who once begged for a plot of land and a raggedy-ass mule so that in 1995, we could say, fuck a mule. I need to get up and get this car and get this money so I can get on the information highway and be down. Can I get a witness? In our day and age of representing, keeping it real, manufactured gangsters, it's amazing to me how synthetic black minds have become. People narrowing pictures of black life into one-word catch-alls, one-sentence pitfalls, or excuses for acting like niggas, spooks, and spear chuckers. Once upon a time, we had real heroes aside from ghetto celebrities and pimps and pushers, aside from today's media whores. Old black heroes lived unflinching representation of black power in the arts, unflinching black representation of power in sports, unflinching black representation of power in the social structure and education, never finding the need to tell the world that we don't love them hoes. Can I get a witness? I heard a group of brothers chanting over some African drums one time, chanting black American anger over happy African beats on a tape 8-track. Man, it was powerful. It was beautiful. It was real, baby. It was African in America, demanding constitutional respect, echoing hundreds of years of anger and pain and power directed at oppressed ears and oppressive hearts. And in the chorus, the last power directed at whoever said it wanted to tell the poets to say, the revolution will not be televised. 60s revolutionaries, young black men, said the revolution will not be televised. And 90s fools create anarchy. Every time a young black child dies, every time a black child is selected to young black men, acting like niggers, treating women like bitches, treating bitches like women.
Meanwhile,
What?
Uptown, the DJ
What? Being pimped like dime bag hoes as if they was making it, faking it with a borrowed gun. Punk motherfucker. Can I get a witness?
Everybody's so concerned.
The revolution will not be televised.
Marijuana.
Time when the children of the earth reclaim that which is rightfully theirs, stolen and altered so long ago. The revolution is going to be underground, like Harriet Tubman's revolution, for the sake of freeing shackled minds from institutional slave auctions like Nat Turner's revolution. The revolution is going to be pay-per-view, baby, minus the cable bill. Yeah, you're going to pay for this shit with participation. Because the revolution will not be televised, goddammit. Can I get a witness? I heard some brothers chanting over some African drums one time, chanting African-American anger over happy African beats on a tape 8-track. It was beautiful. It was powerful. It was real, baby. It was African in America demanding constitutional respect. Tired of being disrespected by opinions, pens, and frightened watchdogs. That meant the Klan, house niggas, government, and anybody else who had any beef was in for some real shit, baby. And as I grew older, the chorus rewound itself over and over in my mind. And I realized that the time for revolution was drawing near. And our country is trying to sweep it under a rug of technology, cut to cover old black integrity with the darkness of black stupidity. So there's no need to look for any signs on television, y'all, because the revolution is unplugged. With no screens dotted with offbeat minstrel shows and commercial integration. No more beepers and bitches. No more ink pen gangsters hitting crossover switches. It's gonna be beautiful, y'all. It's gonna be powerful. It's gonna be real, baby. Then America will respect us true builders. Then America will care about those who coined the phrase and set the trends. Black and beautiful. The last poet's prophecy will finally be respected. And the sticks and stones that never heard America before will speak the words of the unwritten, untelevised revolution, and it will break their motherfucking bones. Can I get a witness?
Meanwhile, Uptown.
That is a closing line that will make you sit up and take notice. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Sounds of Buttermilk podcast.
Oh my goodness, Rich Medina.
Yes.
Part owner of a club now, not the owner.
Ricardo Grande. There are a lot of names, particularly for people who know him as DJ Big Rich Medina. We mentioned in the last episode this idea of the entrepreneurial spirit, the professionalism that came from participating in Buttermilk. And Rich was another one of those dudes. Like, he was a legit drug salesman when he first started at Buttermilk, and then decided that being for the culture was how he was going to earn his living. And boy, has he. Making people rock on stages, playing music for people all around the world. It's a beautiful thing, as you have too, sir.
I'm trying to hold back the tears because I'm not joking. And that's not hyperbolic, because I remember he and I having a conversation. And I think this may have been West Philly. And it may have been post a Buttermilk event. I don't know what it was. But we did get into this conversation about how he wanted to be self-sufficient and he wanted to do creativity over the corporate thing. And there was, I believe I was there too, in the same place, same kind of hopes and dreams, like maybe this corporate thing, maybe I could sidestep it with my own talents. I remember being affirmative with Rich about that. Yeah, for sure. And not just in that, yeah, just do it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. No, but like in a way where we looked in each other's eyes and stuff was sinking in. The conversation was sinking in. It was like, maybe we could pull this off. Maybe this could happen.
Yeah.
And I think also part of that conversation was me asking Rich if he would be kind enough to do a Buttermilk event if I couldn't make it to Philly from New York, be the DJ for the events. And he accepted that. And then Rich just paved his own path. He did his own thing. He had some great friends in New York, Stretch and Bobito. And it's weird how our stories intersect. There hasn't been a lot that we've actually done together, but we both have gone out and we've done our thing the way that we hoped that we could do it, where people embraced our artistic vision.
Yes.
He added his voice to his package.
Yes.
I've been more shy about my voice. I like to just play and mix and hope people hear what I'm trying to say.
Multiple streams of income. Listen, Rich was one of the first, and Jill, as a matter of fact. Jill and Rich were some of the first people that I called when I was in my advertising job, writing copy and producing commercials. And when I needed voices, you don't have to have auditions. You go to the well that you know. You go to the voices that you know that have the characteristics you're looking for your projects. And so Rich, I have Rich's deep baritone to thank for a national advertising award I won for an anti-violence campaign I produced in '98. That's how this community has grown out of the Buttermilk experience. And not to mention I spent a lot more time with Rich than maybe other people did because I was dating one of his roommates at the time. This idea of we were doing the 9-to-5 thing during the day. And then on Sunday nights, this is youth, y'all, because 50-plus-year-old Stephanie would not be doing the same thing. Sunday nights, Rich and Ted, who is now no longer with us, but in their basement would have jam sessions that did not start until 10. And we would run through 2-3 hours of inviting musicians over and being in the basement and just vibing and creating, and then recording it all to that, Marv. And then running it back and listening to part of it before we went home. And then I was going home, jumping into bed, catching a few hours of sleep, throwing on clothes, and then going back to the office bright and early Monday mornings because I had 8 a.m. staff meetings on Mondays.
Oh, my goodness.
Trust me when I say I would not be doing that now. But hey, in my 20s, it was great.
Charged up. What did they say back in the day? Amped up.
Yes, amped up, doing the work that we wanted to be doing, right? Doing the 9-to-5 thing was a have to in the moment, trying to transition to the want to. Thankfully, all of us have been able to do that.
incredibly. It seems that the nourished go on to then offer nourishment
Mm.
to the next. I
Shake it,
can
tambourine.
appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Well, coming up, more from Buttermilk back in the day. We'll hear from Gene. We'll hear more from you, Stephanie, and Kwame Alexander.
All right, now, as we usually do, and as we tussle in the back, we give energy in the house. Is this correct? Is this correct, Stephanie? Okay. Kia, is this correct? We give energy to the house? All right. People in the back, we ain't gonna start the show until you give us energy. That's the way we flow, y'all. All right. Now, where my sisters at? Sisters in the house, give me love. Oh, shucks now. Now, where my brothers at? Brothers in the house? Brothers in the house? Wait, hold up. Now, wait a minute now. I know there's more brothers than that now. I mean, I know y'all working hard, Philadelphia and all. Where's my brothers at? Give me love, y'all. Well, that's a little bit better. All right, y'all, give it up on the 1 and 2. DJ Qool, Marv, give him some love, y'all. Blessing you with the acid jazz. That's right, give it up, y'all. Now, what I want you to do now, as we flow, we got a good crowd too, so I want y'all to just let go. I mean, it's 97, so you know, we're doing things new. Let it go. You know what I'm saying, Sister Claire? Never mind your job. If you're a teacher, never mind the kids. You know, never mind all that. Just let it go. Now check it out. Check it out. Now imagine that you're chilling and we riding down. You see Marvin Gaye and he says hello to you. Yeah. You see Ella Fitzgerald and she's saying hello to you. Billie Holiday saying hello to you. And then Billie says, "Are you going to the Buttermilk show?" You know, so and you're coming here and you see this man on the 1 and 2 and you're feeling good. So make sure you spread that energy as we do. I want to give props to, where's Mosaic Black at? Let's give props real quick, y'all, to Mosaic Black. To you up and coming, but they've been coming for a long time. They've been doing their thing, laying it down. I want to give big props to, is Coco Moon in the house? Where's Coco Moon at real quick? Oh, shucks now, okay. They representing over there. All right. Let me see who else is in the house real quick. I want to, because there's a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. We haven't done this in a while. Well, we can wait for that. Wait, hold on. Where's my New Yorkers? Any New Yorkers in the house real quick? I'm going to get that out the way. Man, I'm all alone. DC's in the house, right? DC's always representing. Okay. Well, I tell you what. All right, now we're gonna move on with our show now. It's about that time. Yeah, 8:35. You know what? I got a little surprise for peoples. Bring that joint down. All right, now I got a little surprise for y'all because I'm feeling good. I'm gonna do a little piece. Yeah, you know. Y'all don't see the Gene do any pieces. I'm gonna do a little piece because I feel good. All right, see? And my family's in the house, see? So I'm gonna do a little piece. So I'm gonna get ready. You know, this is my first time. Yeah. For so long I have waited for such a ride. Can we cruise? And then you put on over, let me in. Now ain't there something
I'm coming to. Said it's the little things you do that moves me to keep on loving you. Said it's the little things you do. Said it's fine, baby, baby, I don't mind. Said it's fine, baby, baby, I don't mind. Don't wanna sound greedy, but I'm still hungry for some more, just a little bit more. But don't you worry, I'm not in a hurry. I slow the butter down to the core. Say, it's the little things you do that moves me to keep on loving you. Said it's the little things you do. Said it's fine, baby, baby, I don't mind. Said it's fine, baby, baby, I don't mind. I don't mind. It's little things you do. Thanks a lot, y'all. That's going out to my wifey in the house, Mrs. Kim Robeson. God bless, I love her much. You gotta excuse the cold. Now, did that wake you up? Did that wake you up? A little something, something? My gosh. Okay, we're gonna keep it moving, y'all. I wanna give a big, lovely props to this lady who started with Buttamilk back in the day. And we've been doing this for 3 years, y'all. Let's give a hand to Buttamilk Worldwide real quick. We've been doing this for 3 years, consistently. But she was definitely there in the beginning with Buttamilk Worldwide when we was doing our things outside in the park with WDAS. Let's give her love, y'all. Miss Stephanie Renee. Are you coming out? Yes. Let's give it up for Miss Stephanie Renee, y'all. Everybody else knew your name.
You're supposed to have a chance to get your little grub on and then figure out what the hell you're gonna do when you get up to the mic. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, what am I gonna do? Oops. No. What am I gonna do? All right. What a day, what a way to behave. Will I win, lose, draw, or be safe? Though my heart says go, but my mind says no, sweetheart. Should I look to the past to remind me if I took such a step, would it bind me? Could I leave the past way behind me, my love? I've had plenty of time to think over it, plenty of time to mull and reflect. There are things to alert me so that he would not desert me. Should I go on or try to forget it? Life is short. Will I live to regret it? By your glance, this romance just won't let it. My love, so be one, be a fool, go ahead and fall in love. Thank you. Thank you. Um, along those lines, just wanted to let people know if I've been out of the scene for a little while, it's not that I haven't loved y'all. It's just I've been working in the trenches doing some other things. And for those of you who are interested in jazz and blues and spoken word, there is now a new space that is open for you to share your talents called Sassy Salt Peanuts Cafe, open in conjunction with Bushfire Theater, 226 South 52nd Street. We had our grand opening this past Saturday. It was very well attended. But what we need are more people like you who appreciate the art form to come out and support it. One, because it is a black-owned establishment, and we know how few and far between they are these days. So any of you who do spoken word, and I know there are plenty of you here this evening, and those of you who sing jazz and blues and play jazz and blues, you are more than welcome. You can come see me at any point during the evening, sign up for our mailing list, and definitely leave your phone number with me so I can contact you about performing. Thank you.
All right, y'all, give it up for Stephanie Renee, blessing the mic, as she usually do. All right, we got a packed house up in this piece. Blessed souls to be. I'm gonna say this again, because I mean, they up in the house. Where's my sisters at? Are sisters in the house? Represent. Now, see, that's lovely. I know I got some more sisters in the back, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Where's my brothers at? Brothers in the house, where you at? Well, see, now that's a little bit better. That was nice. That was nice. I mean, I know you can give me more, but that was nice. We gotta, what you say? But see, they cool brothers tonight. It's an Ease Back Tuesday. All right. We're gonna move right along. I wanna bring up a sister, and she's in the back with the hat. You better get ready, girl. This is the first time she's been on the mic, on the stage at Buttamilk Worldwide, but she's been with us for maybe at least a year and a half. She's been helping us out with the promotion for Buttamilk Worldwide, and definitely been giving much love to anything we needed done. If it's Kenny wanting crooked eyes passed out, and I'll do it. She's like that. So I want to bring her up on stage. Give her love, y'all. Sister Danko in the house. Give her love. I haven't seen this sister in a while. She went on vacay, a little parlay, came back like what? Let's give it up again, y'all, for Sister Dango.
Good evening. How are y'all tonight? I was not prepared to open. I'm sorry. I would first like to begin my poems by first paying respects to the deity of Sabak, Elegba, respectively, to those who are Yoruban. My first piece is untitled. A friend of mine calls it societal ills. I'm sorry, can you hear me? Is that fine? Okay. It's untitled. A friend of mine, like I said before, calls it societal ills. Being in a strong mind state, patience is the forecast for stormy weather is upon you.
Thanks a lot for coming out. Also, let's give it up for Brother Dewey in the house, the godfather of Buttermilk Worldwide, on the 1 and 2, giving you the jazz. Okay, college is in the house. Let's see what we got. Is Temple in the house? Where's Temple at? Is there Temple flavor? Now, if you're from Temple, you gotta show some love. Where you at, Temple? What about UPenn? UPenn in the house? Ooh, UPenn loves their school. Okay. What about Cheney? Where's Cheney at? See, oh, shucks there. What about Drexel? Is Drexel in the house? Drexel? No Drexel? What is that? Bryn Mawr? Okay, Bryn Mawr's in the house. Who else is in the house? Who's representing colleges in the house? Fisk. I heard Fisk. Where's Fisk at? All right, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Who else is in the house in colleges? Community college? DJ Qool Marv is in the house, y'all. 1/3 of Buttermilk Worldwide. We giving much love in the house. Where's my Philadelphians? Where you at? Philadelphia in the house? Represent in the house. Lovely. Love you all. Where's New York at? I'm the only one, huh? Okay, we got some New York in the house. Where's DC? Oh, shucks now. What about B-More? Flavor for your ear. Where B-More at? Not yet? What about New Jersey? New Jersey in the house? Oh, okay, okay. Liberia. Sure, Peter. Who else we have in the house? I just want to represent. We say Harrisburg? Okay. We love you. We love you. We love you. Harrisburg, we love you. Now, I know my, let's see, where's my sister Bev at? Sister Bev? That's right, show your face. Sister Bev, she's going to be she's actually got it going on in comedy, and she'll be definitely represented in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? June 2nd, what's going on? What are we having, a Def Jam tryout? Okay, we'll definitely keep you posted on that. So let's give it up for Bev in the house. Represent. Uprising Star. Got it going on. Got it going on. Oh. What's up? DJ Qool Marv, who you brought? You want to give us a sample, Bev? I mean, look, check it out. What we can do is, after the feature, you can give us a little sample now. We want Bev. All right, check it. If you feel it, hey, Bev, Sister Bev, if you feel it, then, we'll see what we can do. You know what I'm saying? Because, these people are itching to see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, she's funny. She's funny. She'll take you out. I heard her. She'll take you out.
And we have to be real conscious, folks, that what we're doing up here tonight is positive and is cultural. And if we have the chance to kind of throw some spores out, like diaspora, if we have a chance to throw some spores out and watch things grow in other places, we should really take a chance to do that. And I respect this brother for making an effort to kind of spread this kind of love, this kind of spoken word thing around the country. He's had all kinds of success. Script writing for rock, books and shows, and he's just all that. So we're going to bring him up now to close out our feature reading portion of the show. This is Kwame Alexander.
How y'all feeling? What's up? All right. We're here from DC, kicking it. DC got some stuff happening too, y'all, you know. We trying to do the poetry thing, but I don't know if we up to Buttamilk speed. You know, we ain't got no VIP section in DC. We ain't got none of that. So y'all got the Buttamilk VIP. Give Buttamilk a hand. Yeah, the VIP. Thanks. Before I begin, I just want to give a lot of props out to, thank you, Omar, for the plug. Rich, thank you, brother, for coming up here and doing what you do. Also, just a lot of the poetry things that are happening around the country, you know, in terms of trying to bridge that gap. Incognito, Rhapsody in DC, Buttermilk in Philadelphia, Street Poet Society, World Stage out in LA, stuff happening all over the country, y'all. Brothers and sisters just coming together, and that's real good. So I'm gonna start this off with a little piece. It's a segment of a piece that I was asked to do when I got here. See, I had a whole routine planned out. I was ready to do this 15-minute joint, but I'm gonna add this because Brother Gene asked me to do it. So I'm gonna do a little piece of it. It's called Manpower. And it was written while I was working for some white folks at Hewlett-Packard as a graphic designer. And one day I was just sitting down, and y'all know Hewlett-Packard, HP. I was sitting down at the computer. You know, I'm only black in the office, and they walking by me like, what is he doing? What is he up to? And I was writing this poem. Appetizer, strawberries, apples, orange slices, and pineapples. So I asked her, what about the watermelon, sister? What about the watermelon? She reads me like a page out of the Afrolistic Guide to Nutrition. You never mix citrus fruits with melons. You never mix citrus fruits with melons. Start with the scratch, black people. Start with the scratch and there will be no itch. We must return to the old ways, to the old way. Abandon that which is new and confusing. Just because it's new don't make it real. It just become temporary. Like my job. Paid 5 G's a week to smile at corporate-fearing would-be Tarzans who make 5 G's a day to smile at corporate-fearing would-be Tarzans who waste no time making well-thought-of jokes about OJ. Obey your thirst. Drink Sprite. Obey your drink. Thirst Sprite. Thirst your drink. Obey Sprite. Obey Sprite. Obey Sprite. The blacker the smile, the sweeter the pencil. The slower the walk, the faster the lynching. We remember Roots, the latest version, written, directed, conceived, starring, marketed. Introduction, I don't recall. Y'all with me? I don't recall. Part 1, the untouchable airborne nigger. Part 2, the innocent crotch-grabbing more than black nigger. Yeah. And the saga continues with part 3, the most recent unstoppable airport nigger. Caution niggas, mixing citrus fruits with your melons is hazardous to you and your health. Lately, everything has become sexual. The way you walk, the way we talk, and even my job has become sexual. Want to stick my disk in the drive and load my software. Error, unable to read the disk. The program worked last week, so I checked my hardware and discovered that the problem is my memory. I discovered that the problem is my memory. That's all y'all getting from that. Peace. Okay. All right. Just flow with me. This is totally improv, so. Yeah, just need like a slow one. All right, go ahead, start. Did y'all give it up for Ade yet?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Give it up again. Give it up for the DJ too, y'all. So this is not rehearsed. I just brought him up here, so let's flow, Ade. Kick it.
You started off.
So you flow. Show him what you can do.
Rap or beatbox?
Beatbox first.
All right.
Y'all like it? All right, we're gonna kick it like this. I say the ebony, trap, dark black and lovely brown, black, jumping, double black, brown, night black, outer sight black, so black, purple black, blue black, brown, Moroccan yellow, mellow, yellow, black, brown, the positive, chocolate black, ebony, double black, night black, outer sight, so black, purple black, blue black, brown, Moroccan yellow, mellow, black, brown, positive, y'all. Clap your hands if you feel positive. Come on. I say the mellow, yellow, black, brown, positive, chocolate black, blue black, stay natural, be natural, keep it natural, come on. I say the ebony, trap, dark, black, and lovely brown, mocha, jumping, double black, brown, night black, outer sight black, so black, purple black, blue black, brown, Moroccan yellow, mellow yellow, black, brown, positive, chocolate black, free black images, peace, y'all.
So you can check that out. And I like to give it up for my buttercups. This is, we have a lot of buttercups. Buttermilk Worldwide has buttercups, and that is the femininity of buttermilk. You call it the femininity of buttermilk. Yeah, well, and some of them in the house, I want to give props to Sydney. She's in the back. You have Sydney, Carla. Where you at? I mean, you can just raise your hand and we can give you love. They somewhere in the back. Give them props, y'all. All right. I also got my chocolate sister Ray and her posse. They over there. Give it up, y'all. All right. And also, where's my sister Leslie at? Where Leslie at? She's okay. There she go. Give it up, y'all, for Les in the house. The Funk Master. All right. Lisa Nelson, where you at, girl? She's somewhere in the back. Okay, there she goes. Love, much love to you. All right. I want to give props to my social workers. Where you at, social workers? Raise your hands. All right, who else is in the house? Okay, because you got to give social workers props, you know what I'm saying? If you see any, you know what I'm saying, give them props, y'all. Give them props, you know? If you know of and see any of child abuse, drug abuse, talk to them. If you got problems, talk to them.
I am really curious because the conversation around Buttermilk's founding has to do with the three principles, but you were always referred to as the Baba OJ of the group. So, you know.
I knew you were going to say that.
So thinking about how you even got that nickname and how you got involved with these three guys and their vision.
All right. Want to take it back to the beginning? I was on Amtrak coming north. Gentleman got on in Delaware. He had this Omega Sci-Fi stuff on in this Africa pen. I said, I got a live one here. I said, young man, I said, that's an oxymoron. You got these Greek letters and then a Africa pen. I'm like, what's your deal? And that's how it started. My little brother. He's the only one of the crazy people to listen to me. So it's like we became fast friends. He's a number 3. I'm a number 3. We both had a love of hip hop. I was like, look, man, we having this little Kwanzaa party at the apartment. Come on over. He came over and rest was history.
Nice,
you know?
nice.
One of the great things of Buttermilk, it nurtured the culture.
Right.
At a time, we were coming out of the crack wars.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia was awash. I had just moved up here from Maryland. I was like, why did I get into this? But it was a fertile ground for building something and going back to the spoken word. And everybody can express themselves. You do not have to be a star to express yourself. And to see you guys develop, that is my best and lasting memory. Because I was married, I was established, I was trying to find myself. You guys were just coming out of college, professional school. You had your eyes open and the world was yours. But just to see you guys just develop over those short years from, can I really do this? Do I feel comfortable talking in front of people on a stage? Mm-hmm. To, I'm an artist. And a few people became famous. But it was a rites of passage in terms of artistic self-expression in a positive manner. And it morphed throughout the United States. This is where things start in this part of the world. That's why you see the proliferation of when Black folks touch something in Philadelphia, it magnifies and expands. And like I said, what we did was very important because it breathed life into a situation that was not always the most positive.
That is a great way for us to keep going back. Talk about your childhood home and what culture meant there.
I could say I was born to be a fan of Black people. I'm the ultimate fan of Black folks. And that's the way I've seen. First I heard James Brown, mm-hmm. I'm Black and I'm proud. Mm-hmm. And that was like a consciousness shift. Because coming up in that rock and roll culture, we wanted to be white. Even though I was in an affirming Black situation, hearing that song, I'm Black and I'm proud, at my cousin's house in Queens, and just hearing that song, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. And then hearing Michael Jackson, I was hooked on Black culture and sound and rhythm. I can remember the first record I bought. It's a family affair, Sly and the Family Stone, little 45, 75 cents. And throughout my life, I tell people I've been this whole 50 years of hip hop. Mm-hmm. I've been chasing this beat all my life. So I can remember all of those things.
Yep.
I can remember the bleeds of the first New York tapes coming to the DC area. And we knew something's in the air. Something's getting ready to happen. You could feel it. You saw hip hop being born from a distance.
Yeah.
Spending the summers with my cousins in New York. Going out to the park and watching the guys plug the stuff in the light poles. And it wasn't, this was in 78, they weren't mixing, they weren't rapping in Queens, but they had huge sound systems. And it was all about Transrip, Express. That's all I remember. So just being a front seat to Black culture has just been the blessing of my life. So it's just, I just feel so very blessed and privileged. And you guys were amazing. Just to be in that creative environment. And I felt I had a responsibility to keep things on time and keep you guys focused on the task at hand. And I guess that being that age difference, you can see that these are some very creative and talented young people. Take this seriously. Apply yourself. I remember pulling up Jill. Like, you're an artist. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Because from D'Angelo, Badu, that was the soundtrack of Buttermilk.
Yep.
We blew that stuff up. That man, Cool DJ Marv, he needed check. He put that stuff on the map. With his mixtapes, no doubt. My man put that on the map.
Yep.
Gave it life. Because it could have went anyway. Because you had the acid jazz situation.
Right.
Going on in the UK. Jazzy being his whole thing. It had to be a change. And we come from the city of soul. MSFB.
Yes.
Mother, father, sister, brother. Sound of Philadelphia.
Yep. Why Philly? Right? Why Philly is significant to this story, but in general, because that ancestral blood in the soil matters. I've come to think of it as that there are spiritual power centers in the nation based on the acts that have happened in those places far before us. And I do think that there is a reason why that sound, why the movement, and we don't get nearly enough credit for it. But Philadelphia's role in pushing the culture forward in the 90s into the 21st century is profound. And so the 90s, what Buttermilk really kicked off, and then other people hopped on the train and moved it. There is an important moment that we need to give the role of Philadelphia in both Buttermilk's founding and success and in the culture. It's just not, when people talk about Philadelphia, they are very kind to the legacy, the immense legacy of Gamble, Huff, and Bell. There is a real appreciation now for the Soulquarians and what James Poyser and Amir have been able to do in terms of production. But when we talk about the art itself, Philadelphia needs to always be on people's lips. People talk about New York, people talk about LA, people talk about Atlanta. Philly does not get its due, I don't think.
And I wouldn't say that so much as if you have a correct analysis of history, specifically American history, the first capital, the first city in America is Philadelphia. The first capital in America was Philadelphia. Philly is okay. This is where it's founded. And Philadelphia is comfortable with that. And America borrows from Philly. And New York has been like the broadcast of Philadelphia culture. That's New York's role.
Philadelphia was on the brink in many different ways in terms of how it was going to deal with youth culture. And youth culture was making some hard decisions about, am I going to stay in this gangster lane, or is there another way for me to present myself to the world? And Buttermilk encouraged people to come on stage and figure that out in all different kinds of ways. So again, from your vantage point, how did you see that artistic development happening with what happened every time we got together?
It was beautiful. It was very embryonic and pre-Buttermilk. Just a couple of minutes before, seeing a wide dude read for the first time. And Ursula read for the first time. Sonia pushing them up there. You can do this.
Yes.
Being self-conscious. Let me look up from the paper. I have some things I want to express. And then going on and getting into Buttermilk as where people got freer. And each year they got better. I think of somebody, I was thinking of River and seeing her development and what she brought to the table. You guys were like a gang of superheroes. And yourself, you young lady, you really metamorphosized like a butterfly.
Thank you.
You and Trapita, I was scared. You guys came in as little UPenn girls reading. To you, at the end, you were women. You were poetic women with confidence, not looking at the paper. And it's all starting to come back, but just to see your confidence level. Felicia, Daughters of Diaspora, she lived with us. I started struggling college student. I know I said, told my wife, yeah, we got extra room. Let her come live with us. To see her and Tan, bless the ancestors, the Daughters of Diaspora, them to develop. You talk about unsung. We need to have an episode, Buttermilk, the unsung. And what was the brother name? Aki, the little brown skin?
Yeah.
I remember working with him with the Rites of Passage. That was my first introduction. And a lot of this centered around Temple University.
Yes.
And the Pan-African movement of Temple University. Afrocentricity. That's when Malefe Asante had their PhD program. So you have black scholars from all around, young black scholars from all around the nation coming to Temple.
Yes.
And that was our pool. So you had all of that brain talent. We're figuring out our blackness.
Yeah.
And we're documenting our blackness. People are famous professors right now, all way in that area. Everybody used to come and see those performances. You talk now, yeah, I went there. Like, you was there? Yeah, I was there. You're all these pre-professionals. So this was for young professionals, one of the most holistic social interactions to go to. Because it was about expanding creativity. And everybody had a chance to participate. We're part of a creative process. And I had never seen that before in my life.
It's something that I think I took for granted at the time. But what you've just said about a space for people who were really finding their pro-Black voice in addition to their creative voice is interesting in a time where our people needed that.
And then also, too, what you got to remember is that 1995 was a seminal moment. That was a Million Man March. And that was really firm to our eating, the four of us. As Black men, we had to do something. This is the time to plant your flag. Minister said, you got to plant your flag now. You got to do something for your community. I took that to heart. I was teaching martial arts at PASEPS. We were doing the Buttamilk thing. It was about community involvement. Nation of Millions, that was the clarion. That was the last call. That saved us. That cassette tape saved the whole generation. Because if that cassette tape wouldn't have came out in the spring of '88, it could have went, because we were at the height of crack wars.
Yeah.
And Minister Farrakhan's message was embedded throughout that tape.
Yeah.
And we took that to heed. Non-Muslims, just Black people, they wanted a change. So 95 became a seminal point. And that was like the highlight of Buttermilk was in those years. So it's all within that movement. We were just agents of the community doing our part.
The Million Man March as a touchstone for that. Do you feel that it was also an opportunity? Buttermilk definitely took on that challenge. Was that an opportunity for other people to say that I can make my mark through the arts? Is that part of the energy that you felt came from that experience?
Yes, and also giving people a launching pad, a regional launching pad. I was taking my daughter to open our store in West Philly. And you know how they have all the murals and stuff? And they have one at 52nd Street, Omar Tyree. I said, that dude ain't even from Philly. Why is his picture up there? But I was like, that's my man from Buttermilk. He used to come up from Delaware and read. Mm-hmm. Then he wrote that whole book about Marion Barry.
Uh-huh.
Which my aunt had a copy, a signed copy. I tried to slip it away from him, but I couldn't. But that's my man from Buttermilk. So many people. Those are just like the stars. You look at somebody like Rich Medina. He was on trajectory to be that guy, the pharmaceutical rep.
Yes.
He lived around the corner from me. We would see each other at the post office. He'd be getting all his rep stuff. But he would help me set up the turntables, because that was my job. I'd have to set up the turntables for Marvin, because he would come down from New York. So everything would be set up. Rich would help me out. And I think somebody didn't show up to host one night, and I started hosting. When I got that mic, I was like, yeah, me and Gene, we was a mean team hosting. All that stuff that came after had nothing off of Dewey and Gene. That's facts. We are unsung.
But going back to what you were saying about artist development, it seems like from what you've shared so far, Buttermilk was a place for people to feel comfortable expressing their culture. It was a place where people gained confidence in the creativity that they were nurturing, and they were building community. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I love it.
I know one of my motivations personally was that the quote unquote regular person, regular folk, could be introduced to artistic folk without feeling some kind of way, like feeling smaller, or feeling like this is over my head, or feeling like I don't know if I belong here. Like, we were very naturally conscious about this welcoming environment, and about the idea that you could be mail carrier, but you could also get up on stage with your poem that you wrote, and you could express yourself. Did you pick up on that, Dewey? Like when you...
Yeah, and you are bringing back some memories where folk from the community, specifically sisters, and they weren't a part of that college crowd. Mm-hmm. And they would read. The word, it naturally spread. But yeah, community folks would come and spit their poems. A lot of those poems at that time were very intimate and racy.
Marv, I want to know if there was anything else about your chance encounter that has led to this long-standing friendship with Dewey that you remember from your perspective. He sees you coming on as this young man representing, and where the Q and the pen work.
He's the Jedi. He's like one of my best experiments. But I'll let him talk.
From the first meeting on the train platform, from that point, it quickly became something where I don't know how long or short amount of time afterwards, but I'm DJing you and Sharon's wedding at a community center, which technically may have been my first gig. I think that was my first gig in Philly, number one. My first gig before that, I DJ'd in college. So I don't really DJing for your reception. It was like the first time DJing for a room full of people I didn't know already. And then super significant is Dewey was moving.
Let me just pause this one quick second. He's homeless. Crystal Waters.
Yes.
Hey, I'm from Baltimore. And I know those guys. I know the Basement Boys.
Uh-huh.
And for him to play that, and then my man Kimazia playing the flute over the beat while he's playing it, that was the memory of the wedding. But
to build on that, Dewey definitely made me a better DJ. I remember once, I don't know if we were hanging out in the same place, you came over my place or something, and I'm just playing records, and I'm about to mix. You're like, hey, You got to let that play. That's the part. That's the break right there, which I hadn't processed that. I'm just like happy-go-lucky, and when you're young, you just want to mix the next thing, and that kind of any young DJ is a little eager, and they're ready to play as many songs as they can. But then I learned the value of listening to the whole song and making sure that I didn't prematurely come out of a song before it got to its best parts. And then to add to that, you guys were moving, Dewey, Sharanya were moving. I don't know if
to Charlotte for a hot minute.
Yeah, and you were like,
little did I know.
You're like, I got these records. Dewey basically said, I'm not taking these records with me, so you want them? And I did not know what I was inheriting.
10 crates of records.
10 crates. Oh yeah. But it was
vinyl.
It just, I would say 9 out of 10 crates I didn't have. So all of a sudden I have gold. It was like, wait a minute, all the stuff that I was missing that I would need to have to be legit, especially for 70s and 80s music. And at the time, the DJ tool was the 12-inch.
Yes.
Plenty of 12 inches in there. So it was, you had a DJ's collection, basically, and then just gifted it to me. Many of these records are
I was
integrated.
going to say, we can see them.
They're still
right
here.
there.
They're still alive. I think I did have a record bag stolen once. I feel like I did lose 20 or 30 of those years and years ago. But the bulk of those are still here, from dub reggae to Colonel Abrams 12-inch, Bob Marley records. So Dewey definitely will get eternal recognition and props for making me a better DJ. Just for that one bit of advice, so let that record play, because that's what I do now. I let songs play. I'm like, these songs, I play songs that are good all the way through. And I learned that lesson from Dewey. But then to actually have the songs to play in the age of vinyl, pre-CD, pre-computer, I was able in New York to hold it down and earn the respect of people older than me and other DJ peers, because I'm pulling out Dewey's records to play. And they're like, oh, you got that? And I'm like, yeah, I do got that. So thank you for that forever. Because
and let me just add something to that, and you're welcome. And the thing is that we were moving to Charlotte, downsizing, had all these records. I could sell them, but what would I get? I was like, I curated this collection. I was a club kid, always chasing that beat, always wanted to be a DJ. What were the best use of these records? I said, I got to put them in the hands of somebody that's going to really do something with them. So that wasn't a gift, that was an investment in our culture. I done spent all this money. I stopped smoking weed. I spent all my money on records. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this now? Hook up my man. Let me just bless my man.
Investment in the culture. We have a lot of debate that goes on about how you balance needing to pay your bills and pursuing this purpose, if you have determined that your purpose is delivering this culture and preserving this culture, pushing it forward in many ways. And no big movement has ever happened without there being people who, in ways large and small, invest in the culture's perpetuation. What the records were a gift to Marv directly so that he could push the culture forward. But when you look back on that time of co-hosting, mentoring, everything else for Buttamilk to thrive in the way that it did, what do you hope is the investment that you made in Buttamilk collectively, and that Buttamilk has made in what we're seeing happening today?
In terms of what it gave me, it brought me, how can I say, it made me a part of the fabric of this community. Coming here in the summer of '80, not really knowing anybody, initially through PASEPS, is the Pan-African Continuing Education Program at Temple University. And that's where I met my wife. I joined working with young people with the Rites of Passage, Reverend Cecil Gray. That was very important. And then meeting Marvin, the whole Buttermilk community. And on to now, what we're doing now with our store, planting people out in West Philadelphia. And that, I feel that is one of the crowning achievements of our whole Philadelphia sojourn. Seeing my children, Amma and Mandisa, born and raised in Philadelphia, educated in Philadelphia. They went to college, but they came back home. They're stakeholders in this community, respected people, on boards, owning stores, my own children. And, you know, that they come from the soil of Buttermilk because it gave me voice. It gave me franchise. I feel in this life, I have a vastly underdeveloped creative side. I have been the patron of the arts, working the Roots Picnic over the last 2 years. Our company does the Plantscape. And in seeing this is the fruits of what we put in back then. Remembering those guys as young people, Tariq and Amir, like wide-eyed, especially Tariq, always asking me questions, this, that, well, what's this, what's that? Now these guys are like famous people. Or Amir, my relationship with his mom. I'm a natural food salesperson. She was my buyer at Whole Foods.
Nice.
And just seeing her at the last picnic, oh my God, Dewey. So just being the fabric and soil of this community, it's almost like a dream. It's like a dream, a soulful dream. But I'm very appreciative to all of you because you guys made me. And fortunately, I was able to put something into you too. Just being that ecosystem of support. And we have to inject these life lessons to our young people because they're in some very sharky waters. You look at the headlines, they're very ominous. But we have a responsibility here in Philadelphia, once again in Pennsylvania, is that we're holding the door to a civil planet. And a whole lot, we are holding the door. And I take that very seriously. I'm the judge of elections in my little area. But voting is important.
Yep.
Something as granular as that. And we have to be able to serve our people, but we do have a debt we owe these children. For those of us that made it, we're able to retain our voices, retain our identity, and grow and live in this city, being of our own franchise and have to fit into somebody else's box. We owe a debt of gratitude to these children to give them tools to success. We look back, our ancestors went through a lot worse. And we have to tap into that energy, show them the tools of survival in the 21st century. And our culture is our healing aesthetic. That is the bomb. That is the glue for our sanity in this dispensation.
Amen. And I say.
I do need to add one more bouquet of flowers to Dewey. The whole Baba OJ thing. It's not just, I think the image that would...
That's corny, man. That dude create, one album and out. I don't know, man. That's not great.
It's way more than the elder in the room. It's way more than the old head in the room, because I think there's a lot more that goes with that. In our sense, we might have to rebrand him as Buttamilk's trailblazer, because Dewey is the first on certain pathways, whether it's healthy lifestyle. I'm pretty sure my first vegetarian dinner party was at Dewey and Sharon's.
Yes.
Right? And then in terms of mental and physical fitness and harmony. And then also,
remember that time we ran the marathon?
and I think it shows through me, Dewey has inspired my first steps onto paths that I probably would not have gone on to. I would not have taken that first step had I not seen Dewey do it first. So I do want to take this opportunity to rebrand. And I know it's on the old audio, and we'll hear that when we do this podcast, but Dewey has been the elder statesman and trailblazer who has lived a life that I've seen as an example of perseverance, an example of fatherhood, entrepreneurship, self-sufficiency, and self-sustaining. That's been a never-ending, unbroken vibe that you vibrate and emanate, that it to this day still affects me. And you've been a step or two or three or 10 ahead in concepts of mental health. Many things I've heard first through Dewey. He's tried it out and he recommends, and I've been smart enough to welcome the recommendation and try things out and feel the difference. Dewey has been like the heartbeat that they say heart and soul. He's been the health and the soul, healthy mindset, healthy body. Dewey has influenced me, and all of us, the core, Buttermilk, Kenny, and Gene. I'm not sure, Dewey, if it was ever something you were like, okay, I need to do this, and you thought about it, or if you just be. But either way, you definitely rubbed off on me. And whether it's DJ, whether it's as a human, whether it's as a man, as a father, as an entrepreneur, all those things, you've had a positive impact on me. So way more than Bob OJ, because I don't actually know what Bob OJ did for his speech and everybody.
Sat in the chair.
I want to expand.
Rest in development.
Yeah, I don't want people to just picture, oh, he's the old head. Nah, much more. And he was the elder statesman that actually offered a lot of advice that actually enhanced our youthfulness and our ability to stay youthful in terms of our pursuits of happiness and purpose in his life. Props and bouquets.
Thank you very much. And this is long overdue, and it's important that you guys are doing this. History, the full story can be told. People think things started at the Black Lily. Before the pond had a lily, there was a seed. We the seed generation.
Oh, yes.
Buttermilk was the seed, and it sprouted into this big tree, with deep roots. Philadelphia, soul of the nation.
Soul of the nation. That's coming from one of the most soulful and sincere brothers I've ever met in life.
And your brother of the purple and gold.
Brothers of purple and gold. And we connected pretty early on in my career as an Omega Psi Phi member. We met when I was a couple years into it, and he was over a decade into it. So he was like a big brother to me.
In all the ways.
In that sense. And he was also just that big brother you heard in the interview for styles of life. I don't think I had heard the word vegan before I met. And then he had a job where he went around to health stores, basically showing people what products were coming out. So whether it was cocoa or cow, CBD or anything like that. Dewey was ahead of the curve. Protein powders, all this stuff. So he just had this finger on the pulse of health and health movements. Talked me into running a half marathon.
Yeah.
Dewey was very much a person who I think nowadays there's different terms for people like Dewey. I think people use like Hotep or like civil rights person.
Hotep is not complimentary.
Well, that's what I hear. I'm like, whoa, I don't know if that's a positive thing.
No, but the idea of a holistic approach to life rooted in Blackness is something that Lord knows we need now, and we certainly needed it back then. I've talked about the running ourselves in the ground and the kind of partying that you do in your teens and 20s. You cannot maintain your whole life. At some point, you have to go, I got creaky joints now. Things aren't working the way they used to. And there's more of a focus on how you're going to take good care of yourself. And so he tried to instill that in you all early. Now you're not learning it. You're just recalling it. That's a bonus.
True. That's true. And I know we closed out that interview. There was a little reference to Baba OJ. Baba OJ was part of Arrested Development, part of their family.
Yes.
Part of what they projected. And he was just older than me, Gene, and Kenny. But I found out just through living that I actually do appreciate the wisdom, the lived experience of somebody older than me. And that very much was part of the thinking of having Dewey not just be a supportive person in our orbit, but actually, in a sense, be part of the team, part of the planning. He's not considered officially Buttamilk founder, but he could lay claim to being Buttamilk's official advisor.
Yes, how about that? An advisor. Yeah, having that elder presence to keep you focused and keep you on task is absolutely necessary. And I have, I guess, somewhat reluctantly accepted the fact that now I am one of those village elders for kind of a new generation of cultural archivists who are trying to tell stories like we are telling with this podcast. And that leads us to our next segment, because during the pandemic, I got an email from a young man named Stanley Collins, who was in the process of putting together a podcast on the history of Black Lily. And when we talk about influential venues in the city, Black Lily is where a lot of people first understood that there was something powerful happening in Philly. So it was an outgrowth of this energy that we're talking about, Buttamilk, this history that you're hearing either us share here and people recount here. But Black Lily was the next wave of that. And so I was very thankful that as Stanley was beginning to line up his interviews for his podcast, ultimately named 808s and Heartbreaks, he reached out to me to get some perspective on this Philadelphia history and this onstage history. And he had to also include, as a part of this conversation, Dee River Parker, who was one of the first artists who was featured in that infamous Buttamilk spoken word tent at Unity Day, where a lot of us first really became acquainted with the fact that Buttamilk was growing into something amazing. And eventually River became the host of Black Lily. So again, we talking about this growth, right? That is what, because River was young. She was still in high school when we first started hanging out on the spoken word scene. Couldn't even really get into these venues legally. But this was the welcoming arms for us to grow and to fellowship. And we want to thank Stanley for not only including our voices in his podcast, but also providing the permission for us to excerpt his podcast as a part of this so that we could continue that conversation about Buttermilk's influence. And so Here is a little bit of that conversation.
I was a spoken word artist. I did know Jill Scott because I met her through another group of awesome dudes who had gotten together to do this weekly event called Buttermilk Worldwide. Okay, Gene Roberson, Kenny Wells, and Marv, right? DJ Qool Marv. I used to feature and like guest host with them on Buttermilk Worldwide. I was only 14 years old. Okay, so they introduced me to Jill Scott because they used to do these events, and they did something with Philly used to do a summer event called Unity Day. I used to love me some Unity Day. And Philly's festivals during the summer kind of like got kicked off with Unity Day, I think. And then it would, delineate into specific pockets of people celebrating their day on the Parkway. But anyway, so they did Unity Day, and they had a tent for Unity Day where they were featuring Jill Scott. At the time had a partner, and she was only doing spoken word, and she was known as one half of Clark and Scott, or Scott and Clark, or something like that, right? Tiffany Clark, I think, and Jill Scott. Black Lily would not have happened had these other things happened before.
I'm Stephanie Renee, multi-hyphenate in most things creative. I don't dance well, not on the professional side of it, but mostly at this stage, I guess you could say media mogulizing, audio visual production, instruction, and archivist. And I'm most popularly known right now as the vibe mistress of Soul Sanctuary Radio. Yeah. So the problem, along with the beauty of this period kind of leading up to Black Lily, is that for the poets, of which I consider myself, or at least, deeply considered myself right out of pen, we were going to we were going to any place that would allow us gather and kind of workshop new things. And so that meant bookstores, that meant record stores, that meant, art galleries, and all kinds of other coffee shops, little niche spaces. And this, remember, we're talking about before Love Jones, which completely changed things. And that's significant. But in this time, it was little independently owned spaces where we would most often gather to work our plan, to try out what we wanted to do and try and make it happen. And the problem was that because Philadelphia was structured to only seek the biggest margin on whatever it is they could find, one by one, the people who managed these venues basically started saying, nope, y'all don't drink enough. You don't eat enough. You don't buy enough, whatever it is that their main business was. And so some of these really great spaces started turning us away. And at the same time, the ramping up of the talent, right? I met Jill Scott as a part of a duo, a poetic duo, Clark and Scott. And she was among a group of us, Ursula Rucker, Wadud Ahmad, and I'm trying to think, the Beatniks were also on that bill, who performed for under the books and spoken word tent that was created at an annual event called Unity Day that was sponsored by WDAS, right? 1 million people on the Parkway on a Sunday in April. I mean, who thinks that these things will work? But maybe not April, maybe it was June. It probably was summer, actually probably August, but anyway. But 1 million people on the Parkway on a Sunday. And that was sort of and I gotta do a special shout out to the guys of Buttamilk Worldwide, because they were the ones who organized. They were all interning at DAS. They were the ones who organized that tent. They got permission to run that tent on Unity Day, and they did the legwork to assemble all of these poets that were around, kind of making a name for ourselves in one way or another, and asked us to perform that afternoon. And so, even though we were all seeing each other at these venues fairly regularly, it was that moment in front of all of those people throughout the course of the day that it feels like it prompted us to that next level. I think everybody started taking it more seriously after that. And that's when these more diversified projects happened, because that's when people started actually beginning to record work. And that's when that was sort of the over the hump in what Buttamilk created and what they continued to build in the city. And then how other venues started to step up their game in terms of how they presented the work. Before that, it was like, if you were a poet, then basically you did poetry. There weren't a whole lot of people that were exercising the full scope of what they did. The Beatniks had already recorded with Greg Osby, jazz saxophonist. So they had that credit under their belt. But everybody else, I've always sung, Jill always sang, but she wasn't singing when she did her poetry for the most part. Maybe a little dibba-dabba here and there, but not the full scale, this is what I do kind of thing. And other people, it wasn't necessarily their forte, but other people wanted to explore some more. Rich Medina was doing poetry. He wasn't DJing on the full scale, thousands of people at a party thing at that point. He was just getting into it. He was working a full-time job selling pharmaceuticals legally. You know what I mean? I forget for what company, but that was his job. That was his day job. So being placed on a larger platform, having a DJ as one of the people who organized the tent. So creating that vibe that this was what was happening. This is what the cool kids were doing, and that they had more than you see in this one capacity. Kind of prompted everybody to start having a house band at poetry readings, right? To encourage the up and coming independent artists to, stop through Philly and to do a set of what you're doing. Try out some stuff that you haven't previewed yet, stuff that's still in progress. And that really was the jump off point for a lot of other things.
I appreciate Stephanie's words there, because Stephanie is talented, as she is. One of her talents is seeing the big picture. And it's hard for me to big up myself or speak highly of anything that I do. I'm modest to a fault, but sometimes it's really great to hear someone else articulate what your intentions are. And River and Stephanie, once again, thank you to Stanley Collins, shared many thoughts that were the meta, the macro of Buttamilk. Because we were trying to be a bit subtle and not so overt with what we were doing, because I guess we came from that school of we want to show you and we want you to buy in versus we want to sell you, right? We want to just show you. And Stephanie Renee saw what we were showing, and she commented on how that was like fertile soil for future growth. Philadelphians interested in their artistic selves and doing more with their art and spreading it. We appreciate those thoughts, Stephanie. This is the end of episode 2. Coming up in episode 3, you'll hear the voices of Why Dude, Jill Scott, Leslie Arnett, and this is Qool DJ Marv. You're listening to the story of Buttamilk.